Before we start today's episode proper, I'd just like to talk about a comment I received yesterday. I don't normally address particular comments in videos, but I thought this would be an interesting discussion piece, let's call it, shall I? So, a person who shall remain nameless, you could just go look back a couple of days, says this. It was in the video where I talked about Liverpool winning and beating Arsenal, me being happy. So I'll quote it word for word. If you support a team for no reason other than that they're one of the biggest teams in the world, you've got no right to gloat when they win matches. In my opinion, support your local team no matter how shit, then you know what football is really like. Wow. Okay. Everybody's, freedom of speech and all that shit. And so, just if you're wondering, I'm just recording in my spare bedroom. So, just for the background, if you're just wondering where I am. Okay, right. Because I'm a Liverpool fan, not from Liverpool. You might be able to tell from the accent. So, if you support a team for no reason other than that, So, me personally, I didn't support Liverpool because oh my God, Liverpool are amazing. I've said multiple times the story, so I'll keep it very, very short, is that when I was growing up, like 8 or 9 years old, and I got into football, none of my family were into football at all. Nobody supported anyone. I couldn't even tell you any of my family. I had an uncle that supported Reading. I vaguely remember that, but nobody else in my family was into football. So nobody took me to the local match, which would have been Bournemouth at the time. And so it was just not a thing. I didn't get taken to matches and stuff like that. I started getting into it when I was at school and having kick-arounds in the park like most of us do. And I started watching Match of the Day. That was my only access to football at that time, was watching Match of the Day. And when I was of that age, it was just at the point where Liverpool stopped winning stuff. Right? We've won a few bits and bobs, quite happy. But, leagues, let's not talk about that. And we stopped winning stuff. So I fell in love, not even with just Liverpool or the fact they were good. I fell in love with one player, and his name was John Barnes. He was just amazing to watch. He could have played for any club in the world probably, and I probably would have picked that club. So because I'm watching Match of the Day and because Liverpool were good at the time, they were on Match of the Day a lot, fell in love with John Barnes, and therefore that became my team. That became my way into football. Like I said, if I had an uncle that took me to a Bournemouth game or took me to any Southampton game, they're relatively local, I would have probably ended up supporting them. But because I've never felt like I chose Liverpool, like at all. It's just, that's the team I fell in love with. I think it's sad that, first of all, I think it's sad that anyone thinks you have to be local. Like, there's some sort of weird rule that you have to support. Let's say, most people don't, we're going to argue about this, most people don't support their local team. Even Pompey, is his name, so he's a Portsmouth fan. How far do you take that rule? Because, okay, you're a Pompey fan. For all I know, you might live next door to the stadium, so therefore it is. But I bet there's probably, for most of us, even if you're Man United, Liverpool fans, from Liverpool, from Manchester, from London, and stuff like that, there's another team that's even smaller, that's actually closer to you. Maybe a conference team, or a Champions League team. Like for a lot of Liverpool fans, it might be Everton, or Tranmere, or even smaller non-league teams. Does that mean you have to support, even if they're a tiny, like Sunday League football team, do you have to start supporting them because they are factually your localist team? Or is it only down to a level that you have to go? It's just bizarre. I find it, as a non-Scouse Liverpool fan, I've had, a lifetime of people going, you're a glory hunter and stuff. They don't so much say it to me anymore because, Liverpool aren't known for a massive amount of glory recently, especially when we're talking leagues and stuff. They haven't really won it since the time I remember. But I just thought it was fascinating that somebody thinks that, and I'm sure there's other people, I'm not distinctly having a go at Pompey here, don't get me wrong. I think he's a twat, because, so I am having a go at him really. I understand his point totally. He could have worded it a lot politer or better. Like, oh, it's not. I don't think it's right. I think you should support your local team or have an adult discussion. But no, he kind of went in quite aggressive. You have no right to gloat that your team won a game of football and all that. It's just bizarre. I think anybody can support any team for any reason. Like, what if, according to these rules that we've now set out, that you have to support your localist team, what if your mum and dad are both born and raised and their whole entire families come from Liverpool, and then they move to London for a job, let's say, have a kid, and then that kid according to your rules, that kid can't support Liverpool, even though his entire family is from Liverpool and everything. I just kind of find it sad. I think you can. My mum's. This is years later, right? My mum's has started supporting Norwich because I told her to pick a team because, like I said, she was never into football growing up, and she got more into it later on as I got more into it. And I remember about 15 years ago, I said, "Mum, you've got to pick a team. You need to have a team." So she decided Norwich because she liked the little birdies and liked the colour yellow as her favourite colour. So became a Norwich fan. Do what you fucking like. Support who you like. Who gives a shit? It's sad that people are sort of putting their rules on somebody else. I support a local team, so everybody in the world should support their most local team. It's just bonkers. Right, roll the intro. Let's get on with some... We've got some quite important transfer business to talk about. Fuck this shit. We've spent 30-odd million pounds so far, with more to go. Right, let's get into it. Hang on. But just hang on one sec. Before I ever end this rant, I do like a good rant. It makes me feel better. This part, no matter how shit, then you know what football is really like. I don't know what that part means. Do you mean what football is like as in football is shit, therefore no matter how shit they are, you know what football's like? Because what if your local team, your most local team is Real Madrid? Do you know? So you don't know what football is like because you're a Real Madrid supporter. Because support your local team no matter how shit. Then you know. But what if they're really good? Then do you have to move house to support? What happens? What about? Is it localist to the house you bought? You grew up in. You were born in as a child. You grew up in. Is it that? What if you move house? What if your parents move house before you're old enough to remember? Like you moved house when you were 2 to a team. Is it that? Or is it the house? There's so many questions. But it's like, seriously, I'd like to know your thoughts, guys. And also, tell me your team and where you live. But then also, have a look to see if there's a local non-league team you should have supported. Because then, then you'll know what football's really like. Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to episode 8 of the Flipped League Save. Massive day for us. Transfer day. I've done all the transfers. Maybe one more players to come in. But as you can see, we're spending 750 grand on a week on wages, and we spent about 30 million. The original budget is wrong because we signed players before the official end of season, so it took it out of the budget. Blah, 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 blah. Let's have a look at the players we bought in. We did manage to get rid of Big Willie retired. Mandy we got rid of because he was on a match hire Sterner clause, and also the other dude that I can't remember his name, who was also on a match hire Sterner clause and had a work rate of 5, so fuck that shit. Got rid of both of those, so that's good. But the rest of them were just like leftover conference players. So let's see who we bought in. So here is the first player we brought in. We saw him in the last episode, Danny Ings, £6.5 million, which I think is a pretty big, a decent bargain. He's valued at £10 million. He's our highest paid player on 95 grand a week. He's going to play as a shadow striker initially, and unless the tactic fails horribly this season. He's a very, very good all-rounder, and I do think he's superb in real life. I think if he didn't have the injuries, I think he could be a valuable part of Klopp's team because he's perfect. His work rate, he's perfect for the way Klopp plays. So having him as this shadow striker, I think will be very, very good. Cheeky. Next up, another one we saw from the previous episode. Jordan Pickford picked him up for a bargain, 7.25 million. Really good distribution, good reflexes, good communication. Everything that Mignolet is not in real life. But he can also save shots, which is, bread and butter and important and shit, I'm told, saving stuff. He's up there with the best sort of young British talents of goalkeeping. I think in FM18 he'll get a massive upgrade. He's still pretty good in this. He's not as good as Jack Butland or anything like that. But he's a couple of years younger. I think Jack Butland's 25, isn't he? Who knows? I could look, but that's too much effort. But I think he's going to be a really, really good goalkeeper for us for years to come. Next up is a cheeky little Irish youngster. A lot of people mentioned this guy in the comments and they were like, don't worry too much about his attributes. He gets really good. He's only 17 and for £500,000 from Brighton, I thought he was worth a punt. Because the thing is, in the next 2 years, before the Premiership teams arrive, we can give these guys game time. Even these youngsters maybe aren't quite good enough yet. Hopefully we should win the league comfortably again, although I'll show you that the actual other teams have started to make transfers now. But he's a decent young central midfielder, plays as a ball-winning midfielder, but he's one of those players that's a good all-rounder. There's no real weak points in his game. We can almost mould him into the player that we want him to be. So we'll try him out in that sort of playmaker role and the ball-winning midfielder role. I think initially ball-winning midfielder role because it's a simpler job. Deep line playmaker, if you play bad as a playmaker, you're just giving the ball away left, right and centre. So, but I think he could be a cheeky youngster. So good suggestion, everybody in the comments, liking him. 17-year-old, he's Irish. There's no rule as to who. I changed the idea. So we can sign players from anywhere, but I want to try and get some of these good British talents. Right, moving on to the next one. Much discussed in the last episode, we had a look at him. We've signed Wilfred Boney for a fee of 6 million. It was 6 million. He was banging them in for Stoke. Look at that. 4 in 31. Don't worry about it. And he's 28 now, so he should be at his peak. He's also on 95 grand a week. And loads of you made really good comments as regards to players I could sign. And if I'd spent the time, I could probably sign a better target man for less money that was maybe younger, that could still improve and stuff like this. But just as much as trying to beat these Premier League teams when they come in, I also want to just use players I've never got round to using. Like I said, that's the same reason I didn't pick up Ronaldinho or Berbatov or Poyet on free transfers. And I've never used Boney, and I like him in real life. I feel like he's been a bit hard done by and sort of shunted around a few clubs. And he's still very good. He's going to bag goals for us, but he's going to play as that target man support. So I don't expect him to get 20 this season. But if he can get 10, 15 with maybe 10 assists for the shadow strikers, that'll be marvellous. Right, on to the next one. Next up, we've got our first central defender. It's Harry Maguire from Hull for a bargain price of 4.3 million. He's a decent little player. I don't think he's like a long-term wonder kid, but he's an English talent. He's only 24. He's still going to improve. He's good in the air, good jumping and heading, good strength, runs with ball through centre, knocks ball past opponent, dives into tackle, tries long-range passes and likes to switch ball to the other. Okay, he likes doing a lot of shit for somebody. He's got 15 passing as well, so we could play as a ball-playing centre-back, which is lovely. I kind of want to do that as my central one anyway, so actually that could work really well. A decent player for the next 2 or 3 years. That's kind of my thinking. Probably, he might end up just being a subby in 3 years' time, but I like him. He's going to do a job for us this season. It's definitely an upgrade. So next up, we've got another young British talent, 21-year-old Sam Gallagher. Picked him up for the bargain price of £1.7 million from Southampton. And he is basically Boney's backup target man. That's his entire role. I'll try... he's not on... I can't give him tutoring because I might just put him down hot prospect for a bit. Just sneak him in some tutoring and stuff like this. But he's a good all-rounder. I like his work rate and teamwork. Very nice. Good physicals. Good in the air, as you'd expect. He's 6'4". He's a bit of a beastie. He's going to improve. He's on 30 grand a week, but I think this guy's an absolute... For 1.7 million, I think this guy's a bargain. So, despite watching him play at the weekend and seeing how god-awful he was for Arsenal, I don't really blame him, to be honest. There was a lot worse things going on that pitch. But we picked up Rob Holding on loan from Arsenal. They didn't want to sell him, and I thought, he's very, very good all-rounder. We might pick him up next year. He's only got a year left on his contract, so knowing Arsenal, they won't give him a new contract. Topical, he won't want to sign. He'll probably ask for 160 grand. But really decent for the season. So, you guys know I'm a genius at transfers. So this summer, what I've decided to do is sign 3 left wing-backs. Because, that's logical. So this is Haidara. We briefly looked at him a few episodes ago. Very decent place. He was transfer listed by Newcastle. £1 million. Absolute bargain. I bought him as my backup left-back. Okay? But since then, I found another one that I prefer. So we might send one out on loan. He hasn't actually arrived yet, but I'll show him to you in a minute. He hasn't actually arrived yet, but at the moment, this guy is our backup left-back. He's very good. He's really pacey. He's going to get forward. He's decent at crossing. We need attacking wing-backs at the moment. Very decent pickup. He's only 24. Right, decent until we sell him in Christmas. So this is the guy I bought in to be the main left wing-back. Very attacking. We had him in our lead save. His contract is running down at the start of the season. And we had it... Was it FM17, wasn't it? We had him in. So, not used him this year. He's still pretty good. Like I said, we played a compensation of 215 grand. Played 46 games for Leeds last season. Amazing going forward, which is what he's going to spend a lot of his time doing. But also tackling as well. His natural fitness and stamina are really high, so he's going to run all day long. Very happy with this pickup. Even if it's not something that we use in 3-4 years' time, he can still be a decent squad player. Next up, another loanee. I have used this player recently in the MLS save, but he's kind of becoming one of my favourite players at the moment. As a Liverpool fan, yes, I am that. He's a right wing back, but also played defensive midfield or right back. He's just a solid all-rounder going forward. He's going to get massively upgraded for FM18, I'm 90% sure. He's decent in this, needs to work on his determination, but we didn't sign him because they didn't want to sell him, but we picked him up on loan, barely any wages. He's a nice player to have, sort of fighting with Glenn Johnson for a place on that right side, and cheap as chips, because although we've got money, I still want to keep the budget down. We're 2.5-star reputation, so I'm trying purposely not to spend all our money because I want to build the bank balance up to a point where we're next season. If we win the Premier League now, again, then our reputation should be really decent, and a lot of these players in the conference are going to have their contracts running out. Then we can pick up some big stars. These are sort of young players that could be good in the future, or players just for a couple of years until we replace them. So welcome Trent on loan for a season. We might pick him up on a free at the end of the year. He doesn't normally get that good, but he might be a decent backup. Next up, we've just got a bit of squad depth. Bailey Cargill, one of Bournemouth's brightest prospects. He's only 21 years old. He's a centre-back. Remember, we're playing 3 at the back now, so we need more depth. So he's not world-class or anything, but he's much better than what we've got before. He's going to be a decent rotational option. Next up, we picked up Sam Field from West Brom, another young Englishman, 19 years old, but lots of potential, looks decent, box-to-box midfielder, but again has decent overall stats, can play decent, he's got decent tackling for a ball-winning midfielder, but more likely a deep-line playmaker option, only 19. It's one of those sort of punts. He cost us £2 million. If he develops as we hope he can, then he becomes a first-team player, or if he's not, when we've got a shit ton of money, we just sell him off and replace them with sort of superstars. But I think this guy's pretty good. He's a good all-rounder. Adds a bit more depth to that central midfield. Next up, we have Chris Willock, 19-year-old English player, available on a free. Arsenal youngster, so obviously he doesn't like signing new contracts. But he's pretty decent. We're obviously he's going to be our 4th, 5th choice shadow striker, basically, this sort of season. If we get another one in, we might loan him out just to get some experience. But he was actually, at the end of the season, players get released, and then it's like an England trialist stay. So I scouted the players, and this was one. Normally they're utter shite, but this guy's actually pretty good, and I was quite happy to pick him up. So that's it for the players that are in the team right this second. But we are negotiating a £1 million deal for Josh Timon from Hull. Again, I'm sorry, Hull. We've just eaten all your best players. 18-year-old English player, looks absolute quality. Another suggestion from the comments. I had heard of him before and I knew about him in FM, but that was a good reminder. So thank you, guys. Just quality. So this is our third left back as we talk. So I might loan this guy out. He's only young. Get him a season of quality football, and then he'll do all right. And finally, joining us at the beginning of next year is this 17-year-old Argentinian striker who is a decent target man. He can do the job, but he's a great 17 years old. This guy is amazing. We picked him up for a ridiculous 1 million, I think it was, with some add-ons if he plays like 50 games and scores 7,000 goals and stuff like that. This guy could be superb. I thought I'd just take a punt on him. He looks half decent. Very, very happy with that. We don't need him this year anyway, so that's fine. We'll get him next year. I might look for a couple of other South American talents, even if they're going to join in a year's time, because, some of them turn out pretty damn good. And again, I don't normally go for South American talents, so this is quite a fun difference for me. So, right, let's have a look at the team. There is other players that might come in. I might make one more big signing. I think we need one more central midfielder just to fill out the strength in depth. We also do need a backup goalkeeper because we've still got Graham Stack as our backup goalkeeper, who's also our goalkeeping coach. He's got good determination. He's a good shooter. There we go. He's a good shooter. But yeah, I think the team is looking lovely. If we look at the competitions, English Premier League, transfers. So as last season, we saw that the other conference teams were basically spending no money whatsoever because of the AI just got confused. But as you can see by this little lot, there is lots of conference players, 1 or 2 million. Nobody's gone massive. To be fair, our biggest one's only 7 million, but nobody's gone massive. But we've started to see a lot of these signings now for the conference teams. So we've improved quite a bit, but they've also improved. I still think it's relatively easily winnable, but the thing this year is more win the league, hopefully comfortably, but win the Champions League. Or not win the Champions League. Play all right in the Champions League. Right, today's game, my friends, is of course the Community Shield against Huddersfield, who apparently won the FA Cup. So this is going to be a tricky game because they're a good team, even though they're League One. We've worked this out by now. Right, so let's go. Jordan Pickford in goal. John Glenson at right wing back. We're going to go Charlie Taylor at lefties. And then we're going to go... We've got a nice bit of strength and depth at the central defence now. We've got these three who are sort of quality players. Dale Fry, Holding, Maguire. But we've also got the likes of Bailey Cargill and Reeder Johnson and Michael Raines, who were brilliant for us last season. They're not spectacular, but they're decent backups in this Premiership conference thing that we've got on. So what we're going to do is going to go you there, right? Yeah? No, Rob. And play Rob Holding as a playing one. A ball-playing defender. There we go, on stopper. Just to step forward a bit, maybe pick up the ball, play it out to these wing-backs. That's generally the idea. At central fit midfield, where we're probably weakest, we're going to go for Ajaria as the playmaker and Sam Field as the ball-winning midfielder. We've got Malumbu as well, or Malumbi. I'm going to keep saying Malumbo. I don't know now. I'm also annoyed that he spelled Jason with a Y. It's just unnecessary, mate. It's just so unnecessary. So that's going to be good. And then Kalachan's unfortunately injured for us up to 9 days. But he's a decent backup still. So strikers is an easy option. Wilfred Boney's the main man. First time we've really got a battle for positions here, because we've got Danny Ings, we've got Bright, and we've got Magoma, who's still here. And I can't drop Magoma. He was way too good. So we're going to go with Dingsy and Bright on the bench. I think we're going to rotate those three. Try and give them equal game time this season. And then Gallagher on the bench. Brighty on the bench. Willock on the bench. Malumbi. Benchy. Hadara. Oh, no. OCD won't allow me. And then Bailey Cargill. So that is a much... Oh, hello. Why have I just done that then? Hey? That is an improvement, I think. It's still not good enough to compete against Premiership teams, but we've still got a while to go before then. This will be a good test, because we should be roughly about Huddersfield's level, to be honest. Let's do set pieces. Have we got any set pieces? Yes, Charlie Taylor, you sexy, sexy man. You can take all the corners because nobody else can apparently kick a ball. Free kick. We've got... Okay, that's nice. We've got a decent one on each side. And we'll let fate decide if they're not available to take it. Penalty takers. Ooh. Magoma was brilliant. He missed 1 in 7 last season, so we'll give him that. And then Magoma... And then we'll let them decide after that. And then captains, we've just got to make sure we've got a decent backup captains. So Rains is the captain. Rains and Johnson aren't going to play a massive amount. So we'll keep Rains as the main man. But I'd like somebody that's actually going to play. Harry Maguire? Is this... Okay, fine. Reader Johnson go third, and then Trent fourth. Right, that'll do. Here we go. Start of the season. With regards to the sort of highlights this year, guys, I'm going to mainly, obviously, concentrate on the Champions League. Unless the league is close. Like, we'll see how it goes. We'll obviously play a bunch of the league, but I'm mainly going to concentrate and see how we do. Show all the Champions League games, because they're going to be very interesting. That's going to be how we test our level. If we can compete in the Champions League, we know we can compete when all the Premiership teams arrive. Oh, they got the mighty Naki Wells. Okay. Loving this, boys. Loving this. Pressure is all on the opposition, apparently. Doesn't matter that we're Premier League champions. That's fine. Yeah, but regarding my little rant, it wasn't actually little. It lasted about 8 minutes. Apologies for that. You know what I like when I get ranting. I'd like to know your thoughts. Even if you totally disagree, that's totally fine. You know, just don't be a dick about it. That's kind of the rules of my channel. Say what you like. Have any opinion you like. Just don't be a dick about it. But I'd appreciate your thoughts on it. Right, come on, let's just give them a game. Oh, I'm still on counter. I haven't changed this for about like a month. Right. Okay. Counter actually might be better, to be honest. Okay. Johnson. Back to Johnson. Magoma. Magoma deserves the first goal of the season. Oh, Wilfred. Oh, is that a sign of things to come? He's already got 25% of the goals he scored last season. In 9 minutes. That is a decent finish, though. Field with the assist, lovely. Just turns him. Good finish. You're not saving that, mate. Top bins. Right. Okay, good stuff. All these little trophies help as well. Remember, we're trying to get our reputation up. I just checked, and it was 2.5 star. And people have been suggesting, like, try and get some big players from abroad and stuff. But the trouble is, we haven't done anything to the abroad teams, so Jesus Christ, could it be any freer? Me trying to pursue a Atletico Madrid player, they just say, fuck off. Why am I going to a 2.5 star rep, even though they're Premier League champions? So it's easier to pick the teams that are now in the conference, steal their players. So I tried to get a few in, but yeah, they're just laughing at me at the moment. Okay, that was worrying, that bit of defensive work. Rob Holding playing... 6.7. It just went up. I'll let him off. I was going to make an Arsenal joke, but we'll leave it. I'll stop one day, Arsenal fans. I'm sorry. I'm giving it to you a bit rough at the moment. I did sign an Arsenal player. Look, there you go. Right. Danny Ings. Ball down the wing. Wilfred's there. Use his strength. Go on, son. Go on, big man. Oh, he's just leapt him. Cuts inside. Oh, he's got decent confidence. We'll give him a positive there and say, look, confident chap. Not sure at the shot, but okay. Charlie Taylor, near post. We should get another. Oh, dangerous. Dangerous. 1-on-1. Yes, Field. Great tackle, son. I bet he shit himself. That's almost like Bellerin, but good. Too much now? I think it's too much. Right, okay, no more Arsenal jokes, I promise. I'm not going to promise, because I might just forget. I'll try not to make Arsenal jokes anymore. Right. Boney with a brace. Oh, lovely. Bit of a Michael Owen celebration. Hang on, did Michael Owen do that celebration when he scored that goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup final? Okay. No more jokes against Arsenal. Oh, Jaria. Hat-trick. Oh, it's a tap-in hat-trick. He's onside. Yes! 38-minute hat-trick on his debut. Run into the crowd, mate. It's fine. Forget yourself. I don't know where I am. I'm so excited. I'm just going to run into the crowd. That's unlucky, that was. Looked offside, but yeah, that's fine. Jaria should have got the goal, though. That was a peach of a shot. We're 3-1. It's flattering us a little bit, I think. We've only had a couple more chances. We're edging it, though, which is fantastic. Okay, Hefeli. To Stankovic. To Juana. Oh, stupid names you've got, people. Oh, Bun, that's more like it. Dempsey, job done. That's a good tackle. Hefeli. What's he going to do? It's a decent pass. To Lowe, to Billing, onto Hogg. Their key man, I think. Quasar. I'm just going to call him. Sean Scannell. Ball across. Back post. Dempsey's there. Not Clint, is it? Kyle. Yeah. I was going to say, not Clint. He's about 40 years old, isn't he? He's back playing in the MLS. Fucking hell. It's 3-2 with 40 minutes gone, people. Another free header. Didn't like that. Remember, so many of our players are new that they need to learn the tactics. So I'm not too worried about the tactics so far. I'm going to give it 5 games before I even if we lose a few, before I change anything. Don't rush into changing your tactic, especially at the beginning of a season. Your players aren't used to it. Magoma, ball forward. Boney. That's a poor. He didn't want to score another one. That's just showing off. Johnson wins the header. Magoma. Nice. Ajaria. Yes. Field. Danny Ings. Danny. Yes, Danny. Danny Ings. Danny Ings. Don't know if that's his song. I've just made that up. Copyright. 4-2 away. Where's our assist coming from? 2 for Samfield, 1 for Ajaria, and 1 for Dinge. I'm just going to Dinge. Right, go on, Dings. Go on, Dingsy. Okay, I think safe to say that was a decent half. Magoma didn't even do anything. I'll take Danny Ings off before he breaks a leg or something. And Malumbi can come on. And Haidara can come on for Charlie Taylor, who's had an alright start. We're gambling a little bit on an injury, but fuck it. You only live once, right? Right. Oh, Glennie Johnson. No, Glennie. I think if I looked at my team, the weakest position now, if you just looked at not so much depth, but just the best player in each position, I would say the right wing back is probably Magoma. He's not going to get forgotten. Of course he's not. I would say right wing back. Trent Alexander's okay. He's a youngster. Glenn Johnson's just tailing off a little bit. I think next year that'll be one of the big purchases because, like somebody mentioned in the comments, the wing backs are probably the most important positions in a tactic like this when they're basically most of your creativity going forward and a lot of your defensive work as well. So, but we'll see how he gets on. Right, Magoma. Oh, we should walk this league, shouldn't we, this season, surely. If we are walking it, like proper walking it, I won't bore... I never find it boring thrashing people, but just in case some of you find it boring thrashing people every week, I will skip ahead, like I said, just sort of show mainly the Champions League games and any big important games. Ajaria. Lovely ball, lovely, bright. Oh, that's a great save. Mustard. That save was because his name's Coleman. Mustard. Don't know why I bother. Right. Lovely. Defence has looked decent apart from those two far post jobbies. Jobby. Holding. Hold up. That was bad. That was just really bad. Do we not get to see a replay? Was that the replay? I'm so confused. Magoma scored again. It's because we were sort of saying how good Boney looks. Danny Ings, oh, they're so good. Magoma's like, fuck you, mate. I'm player of the season. He was the European Golden Boot winner. He won all those awards, yet his value is 650k. I feel like that should automatically go up. Because he would just be worth more, even though he's 29, even if he's got a year left on his contract. You'd still be worth more than 650k if you just won the Golden Boot Award. Right, it's 6-3. Is Magoma going to get on his hat-trick? It'd be nice, but I'd prefer to get Brighty a goal. Get all the main men scoring. Dempsey, ball forward. Holding's missed it again. Oh, Maguire. Shouldn't have said that about how good the defence was looking. Fucking hell, it's 6-3. It could be 6-4 in the Community Shield. Never has a Community Shield been so exciting, which is true, because Community Shield is utter shite. Right, Naki Wells. Fucking hell, what a game this is. This is Liverpool. Shit defensively, but we're just going to outscore you. It's a good finish. Keeper's gone the wrong way. Okay, it's decent. Old Pickford's let in 4 goals on his debut. He's done him there, he's done him. Right, let's not give it away. Let's win the Community Shield. Every little helps. Bit more money, bit more reputation. Loving it. Right, that's poor. That's poor. But the new signings are all looking good, apart from the defence. Yes, Johnson. Oh, Dale. So he was here last season. The 2 new signings looked dodgy as fuck. Yeah, both got a 6.2. There you go, to prove my point. Well, 6.3 is not much better, to be fair. Okay. They just need to learn each other's ways, right? Mannerisms, right? It's not that it's Rob Holding. Please don't be that it's Rob Holding. Right. You might see a little hint before we go of who else we might be looking to sign. We won. Boney hat-trick. Catches the eye. Let's praise him. You were superb. And 2 assists. Oh! What's that there? Oh, I've got Harry Cool as my assistant manager now, by the way. He's actually really good. I couldn't resist when I saw him. Another one. Emerson Hyman, the Bournemouth guy who used to be Fulham. Another good youngster. A little bit too expensive, though, for my liking. Another the Leeds kiddie. This is a no-brainer, isn't it? £1 million? He's a very good prospect. He's very, very good. Oh, we've already put in a bid for him. Oh, another youngster. You might have heard of this one if you play Football Manager. That's just a bit dull, isn't it, going for him? I know he's very good, but it's a bit boring, isn't it? It's a bit boring. And this guy as well, Peterborough, youngster. Leonardo da Silva Lopez. Just a superb, another central midfielder, couple of £1 million worth. There's some bright sparks, bright stars in there, I think. Right. What we shall do next episode... can you tell us where the... Does it say... I can't remember how to look when this is drawn. Is this it? Where's the draw? That's the champions first qualifying, right? First qualifying, yeah. Best draw. It's probably a much easier way to see this. European third place playoff. Fucking hell, there's so many. European Champions Cup best placed playoff draw. Fucking hell. Where is it? There it is. 24th. I'm quite... It's a good achievement that I found it. 24th of July is a much easier way to see that. Is the Champions League draw. So we're definitely going to come for that anyway. But it should be good fun. Right, thank you very much for watching me, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you want me to totally cut out the ranty bits. If it's a rant about football fans or yellow cards or whatever, let me know in the comments, and I'll sort of, if I feel that bothered, I'll just make a separate video about it. But do let me know. Thank you very much. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.